Hello! So in today's video we're going to talk a little bit about crochet hooks, the different sizes, and just some basic crochet stitches. So this is my crochet bag, so it says "Let Adventure Begin" because I like to think of crochet as being kind of an adventure. And then inside, this is where I keep all of my hooks, so I have a couple of different sizes to show you. This is also where I keep my tapestry needles so that I can sew on my ends whenever I'm done crocheting things. And I also keep a pair of just scissors in here too. So these are my favorite crochet hooks. So these are the three that I use the most. You can tell because they're kind of worn on their edges and things. So I like to use these three. They're all ergonomic hooks, and if crochet is something that you get into, I would strongly recommend having ergonomic hooks because they kind of work with your hand better. They don't cause damage or pain of any kind, really. So that's why I'd recommend using them, although the metal hooks are fine if you're just learning how to crochet. So this is my 5mm hook and my 3.5 mil hook, and this is my 1.5mm hook. And so if you look at them in this direction, notice how they're all very different sizes. So you use these for like different applications. So this one, the tiniest one, the 1.5, this one I use predominantly for like crocheting lace or doilies and that kind of thing. So today I'm going to just do some basic crocheting, so I'll probably use my blue one, my 3.5 or my 5. You could do either of these, but the yarn I'm going to use today is a little bit thin, so I'm going to use this one. So with my 3.5, I'm going to grab some yarn, just let it drop down, and find the end. Alright, so we have our end here. Alright. So to begin, you want to make a loop. 2 loops actually. So your loops should look kind of like that, where you have the part that connects the loops in the back. You take the first loop that you made, the one that's closer to the end here, and you put it through your second one. You pull tight, like so. So this should be pretty loose, so you can like pull this or widen it if you want. It's kind of like a little slip knot type thing. And into that little loop, that loop there, we're going to insert our hook and pull tight. So when holding yarn, I like to have tension on mine, so I tend to wrap it around my 4th finger and pull it up to the top. So this position here tends to give me a lot of control on the tension, and then I will also hold my work from the back. So to make crochet stitches, we're going to take our hook and go this direction and pull through there. I'm going to show that up close. So you're going to loop and then into, notice how I'm twisting my hook to go through that little loop area, that little V shape in there. Pull through that direction, and so then it gives a nice little rib. So I'm going to do that a couple of times, and this should be a pretty easy motion. Shouldn't be pulling too tight along as you go. And this is called a chain stitch, so just chaining along like that. So once you get to approximately where you want to be for your chain, we're going to do some single crochets. To do a single crochet, you're going to take your hook and go through one of your loops. So notice I'm going through. I'm going to pull some yarn, so yarning over, pull it back through, and now I have 2 loops on my hook. Loop it over and pull through both. So that is a single crochet. So I'm going to do that again. Go through the back rib, pull up your yarn, go through, so you have two loops, and then go through again. Right, so going into making another single crochet, looping, and then looping over. And again. And a couple more times until you get to the end of that row of chain stitches. So you have now gone through all of the back pieces there. So once you get to here, you'll notice how the top now has like its own little V-shape heart things. So that's now your new back ribbing. And then you want to chain one so then you can turn your work and go back again. So more single crochets, go through, loop, pull back, go through both, go through, pull some yarn, and then go through those two again. Just like that. This should be nice and easy. You shouldn't be like gripping your crochet hook too tightly. Notice how my hand is really loose with the crochet hook. Alright, so now that we have made it to the end, once again, notice how our work is growing. I'm going to chain one, and so that is a single crochet. We're going to also learn some half double crochets and some double crochets and triple crochets too. So we'll get started with that. So with a half double crochet, it's kind of like the combination, the in-between of a single crochet and a double crochet. So to do that, we're going to have a yarn over before we go through our back loop. So take our yarn, go through that back loop, pull some yarn over, and now you have 3 distinctive loops on your hook. You're going to take a 4th thing of yarn and go through all 3 of those. And that is a half double crochet. So watch again, pull it over, go through your loop, pull some yarn, come back, and then go through all 3 of those. Alright, and again, go through, pull up, and through all 3. Okay, now we have some half double crochets, chaining 1. So I like to use chain 1 at the end for turning over for single crochets or half double crochets, but whenever you're doing a double crochet, it helps to have like the little chain end that goes up the same length as the chains or like the stitch that you're going to use. So here's one that we've done. For a double crochet, I'm going to do a second one. So now I have 2 rows here and a half double here. I'm going to rotate over. Alright, so for a double crochet, you're going to, just as in the half double crochet, take it over, go through that loop, pull it back through. So this is so far the exact same as the half double crochet. And we have 3 on our hook. We're going to take some yarn, go through only the first 2. So now you have 2 loops, and then you're going to do it again for 2 full things. So you should have 2 loops of 2 loops. So that's a double crochet. So here it is again. Go over, go through, pull back over, have 3 loops, go through the first 2, and then the second 2. So that's a double crochet. And then we're going to do some more. pull up some more yarn. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on there. And we're going to chain 3 this time. Oh, dropped it. So you just put it back through, go through there. So you have 1, 2, 3. All right, so now we're gonna go and show you how to do a triple crochet. So it's almost exactly the same as a double crochet where there's 2 sets of 2, except for this we're gonna have 3 sets of 2. So we're going to first do 2 yarn overs. So now we have 3 loops on our hook, going back through that last rib, pulling some yarn up. So we have now 4 loops. Pull some yarn, go through the first 2, leaving 3 loops, going through the second 2, and then finally the last 2. So that gives 3 sets of 2. So again, going to go over 2 times and go through the rib, pull up some yarn with 4 loops on your hook, go through the first 2, the second 2, and the third 2. Do it again. First 2, second 2, third 2. Okay, and we're gonna keep going until we reach the end of our row. Sometimes with this yarn it gets a little caught, and that's okay. Just go through your loops. It's okay if you miss a loop. Beautiful thing about crochet is that you can always add in rows should you accidentally drop them. Alright, so then we're going to chain 1 there. Okay, so this last one I'm going to show you is a slip stitch. So it's like a single crochet, so you don't put any yarn on before you go through the rib. You're going to pull 1, and then instead of doing an additional, like in a single crochet, you're just going to go through your first. And so you just go through, pull up some yarn, and go through. So go through, pull yarn up, and connect, just like that. So this is a slip stitch. I find slip stitches are really pretty on like borders and things. Alright, so I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to pull this up a bit. You can make loops as big as you want. Whenever you finish something you would clip the end here, but so then you could sew back through. Alright, so now that we have done our stitches, I'm going to show you a little bit about each stitch. So with the single crochet, it's pretty tight. It's not very porous. Half double is a little bit more porous. You can kind of see my fingers through there. Double crochet, this is what most like hats are made out of. Just simple double crochets, you can kind of stick your fingers a little bit through. But the triple crochets, these are very porous, so you can kind of like completely stick your finger through there. So that's a little bit about the different types. I like to use the triple crochets pretty much for just like doilies and lace and like that type of thing. I think they're really pretty to have like long extended networks. But for warmth, not so much with these ones. Double crochet, half double, singles, and the slip stitch, those are pretty great for just combining things together, or in general they're great for keeping things warm. So if I were to end here, again I'd clip it off. If you want to sit it down and go work on something else, you can. You just pull this back. I like to use my finger to keep my place, and then you can grab your hook, go through the loop that you're ready to go yet again with your crocheting. Alright, so those are some basic stitches, and things about crochet hooks. So I hope you got something out of that. I really enjoy crocheting. I hope that you do too. And that's it. I will see you next time.